Good evening, folks, and welcome to the 11th episode of the HeavyNFLD Podcast. Yep, you heard me right. This is actually the first time that I think I've managed to go 3 months with making podcasts in a row on a monthly basis like I originally intended. And you know what? This train is showing no signs of stopping soon. So we're going to keep that train rolling right on into our first song of the evening, which is by a band that I wrote a review of quite recently, actually. I think it was last month that I did it. This is Jim Jones and the Kool-Aid Jammers, a relatively new punk band on the scene in St. John's. They kind of mix hardcore punk, like Dead Kennedys style, with surf rock, and they do it with quite explosive results. I mean, this album is actually pretty good. I gave it an 8.5 on the Heavy NFLD WordPress blog, so I highly recommend you check out that review, and then check out the rest of this album too. It's up for purchase on Bandcamp right now, and it's fucking killer. So we're going to play a song from this album first off, and it is called Beach Bod by Jim Jones and the Kool-Aid Jammers. Alright, so once again, that was Beach Bod by Jim Jones and the Kool-Aid Jammers. We're going to follow that up with another song by another new band on the scene. These guys, to my understanding, rose out of the ashes of the now defunct Kuro Numa, who, were really a good band, but are unfortunately no longer around. But this band is called Gossamer, and I believe that they have some of the members of that old band in their lineup. They just released their very first EP. It's a self-titled EP, which is available for download right now on Bandcamp, and I believe it's also going to be available for listening on Spotify soon too. So I would highly suggest checking that out once it gets to Spotify, or if you don't want to wait, go check them out on Bandcamp. But right now we're going to play a song from that EP. It's called Wednesday Parker by Gossamer. Alright, once again, that was Wednesday Parker by the new band Gossamer. Following that up, we're going to tone things down a bit with a track from St. John's resident doom psychedelic band known as Electrikompany, with a track of theirs called Asunder. Alright, so that was Asunder by Electrikompany. Now we're going to do something a little different. We're going to go away from St. John's and go over to the other side of the island where we don't actually hear that much heavy music coming from. Yes, that's right, in the town of Cornerbrook, which some people inexplicably call a city, even though St. John's is really the only city in the whole fucking province. We have a hardcore band called Trash Juice. I fucking love that name. It's so fucking amazing. Just perfect for a really grimy, dirty, hardcore band, which these guys definitely are. You know, we don't hear this kind of music coming out of that part of the province very much. Most things are relegated to St. John's, and it's just nice to know that there are other people out there in the smaller parts of the island who, you know, really appreciate and want to play this type of music as well. And these guys kind of came out of nowhere. I was really surprised when I went on Bandcamp and I looked through Newfoundland and Labrador, the tag on that website, and saw this, and I was like, Trash Juice, who the fuck are these guys? And I listened to the album and I was like, damn, like they're fucking awesome. So we're gonna play a track from their debut album right now. It's called Bar Fight by Trash Juice. Alright, so once again that was Trash Juice with Bar Fight. And up next we're going to take it down a bit again. We're going to go with some good old depressive suicidal black metal with another new project that's just popped up on the Newfoundland black metal scene recently. This is a band called Withering Away. Well, I hesitate to call it a band because it's more than likely a one-man project, as are most black metal things coming out of Newfoundland, like even myself. But yeah, this is new. It's definitely DSBM, instrumental. They have 2 albums up. I believe one of them is a self-titled. I can't remember the name of the other one now, but they're both on Bandcamp. Just type in Withering Away. You'll find them quite easily. But this is a 6-minute instrumental from one of those albums, and it is called Depression. Okay, so once again, that was Depression by Withering Away. And in the interest of time, because I actually have a flight to catch tomorrow morning, I only have a few songs left to give you tonight. For the first one, we're going to take a step away from Newfoundland and go a little bit south into our neighbors, the United States, to the state of Maine, with an atmospheric black metal project called Great Cold Emptiness. I recently met the man behind this project at my work, actually. He's my coworker, which is always an interesting way to meet fellow black metal musicians. But I really like this project. It definitely falls in the vein of a lot of other big atmospheric black metal projects that you've probably heard of before. If you're into that style of music, like Elder Wind and Luster, Bessarabian Hills, Summoning, etc., I do really like this stuff, and most of the songs are quite long. Some of them are 12, 16, 20 minutes long. But we're going to play one of the shorter tracks off of the most recent album, Miles Before I Sleep. So without further ado, this is The Last of the Wisemen by Great Cold Emptiness. Alright, so once again, that was The Last of the Wisemen by Great Cold Emptiness. And before I let you guys go tonight, I'm going to play one more song in keeping with the spirit of the holidays, I suppose you could say. Of course, Christmas is upon us, or Hanukkah, or whatever the fuck you celebrate at this time of year, winter solstice, whoever gives a shit. But as you guys probably know, if you've been keeping up with the music that I actually make, outside of what I do for Heavy NFLD with Mistwalker, is that every year I've been doing Christmas-themed EPs where I kind of parody old classic Christmas carols and make them a bit more evil and heinous and change the lyrics around to be incredibly blasphemous. I've done that for 3 years in a row. Last year, unfortunately, I couldn't do it because I didn't have access to my regular musical equipment as I had in the previous years, so the tradition kind of fell to the wayside. But this year, I plan on doing it again. I'm hoping that I can finish an entire Christmas-themed EP within the next week because I am going back home to Newfoundland tomorrow morning, bright and early at 9 o'clock. And I cannot wait to get home to get access to my drum set again and to start recording material. And hopefully I can get an EP out before the 25th. But in the meantime, I'm going to play you a song from one of the previous EPs, one of the better ones, in my opinion. It's a parody of Frosty the Snowman, although that is actually what the song is called on my release. It's still Frosty the Snowman, but with a bit more of a traditional black metal take on the fanciful children's tale. So, without further ado, this is Frosty the Snowman by yours truly, Mistwalker.
Unhappy soul with my disband and big battle axe and wise and burned with the fire of the knuckle Satan. Frosty the Snowman is a fairy tale. They say he was born on the cross in the Holocaust, and he rose from the dead one day. There must have been some black magic in the vast expanse up north. But when he raised his armies, they followed him to kingdoms forth. And Frosty go. Over the mountains of snow. At Frosty sleigh. Summer shall rue the day. He led them down the place of mounds and right to heaven's gates, and only paused a moment to viciously masturbate. Look at Frosty go. Over the mountains of snow. Look at Frosty sleigh. Summer shall rue the day.
right. So that concludes our December 2018 episode of the Heavy NFLD podcast. And what a year it has been for this Facebook page / YouTube channel. Honestly, I don't even know what Heavy NFLD actually is anymore. It's just a brand name at this point, I think. But I just want to give a very, very sincere thank you to every person out there who has liked the Facebook page, who has subscribed to the YouTube channel, who has reached out to me in whatever capacity, to say that I'm either doing something good with Heavy NFLD or to ask for me to promote their band or play their music on the podcast. I just appreciate every single last one of you. And I want to give a huge, huge thank you out as well to every person in Newfoundland and Labrador who either listens to this show or who makes heavy, kick-ass fucking music and lives in this province, because you know what? We have a great scene here, and supporting local music, it's just something that is so important, and we need to keep doing that. So I'm going to be here, hopefully for as long as I can to help bands get their music out there and to spread awareness of the awesome musicians from this province that really deserve to get their art heard by people elsewhere. So without further ado, I just want to say thank you again. I wish you all a Merry Christmas, a Merry Xmas if you're atheist, a Happy Hanukkah if you're Jewish, a fantastic Solstice if you're pagan. Speaking of Solstice, I will see all of you at Pagan Fest this year on the 21st, the first show that I will actually be at in Newfoundland this whole year. So, if you're there, like I said in the last episode of this podcast, come and say hi. I don't bite. I'm really happy to mingle with the people in this scene because I just love each and every one of you. All right, I'm going to stop rambling now. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart for an amazing year from Heavy NFLD. Very, very much appreciated. I'm your host, Akhenaten. See you in 2019.